It's time for Gardening Inside Out, a live show offering you plant advice for any space in your life. Introducing your perennial hosts, David Bates and Josh Carey.
There we go.
There we go.
Oh, now we hear you.
Okay, well, it's Saturday morning.
Hey, it is Saturday morning, and we're all alive and well.
Here from the Green Room Studios at Bates Nursery Garden Center, because it's gardening inside out.
It is, and we're glad to have
Everyone.
each of you along,
Yes.
and we're all glad to be here. We're especially glad to have Rachel Chapman along today because
Rachel Cam!
but we don't know for sure
If she's live.
right? Because it doesn't say live on there. But Tyler has got the day off, well deserved. But we're really happy to have Rachel to keep us going today. So thank you for being here today, Rachel, and for getting us on the air. And we're going to talk about a little bit about the weather first, and then we're going to get right into all of the stuff that's going on because it's been an eventful week here
Yes,
at
it
Bates
has.
Nursery. So, first of all, live from the Bates Nursery station, we looking at 66 degrees currently. So it's a very pleasant start to the day. A very small chance of rain. I think that's a trend.
It's cloudy above
I think
the
they
nursery.
feel. I think there's an obligatory thing that we're going to forecast rain in the future without any reasonable belief that
It's actually going to happen?
Yeah,
Okay.
because we all know last week we were going to get 2 or 3, 4 inches, and
They
we
lied.
got 4100s here. So I digress. Today is Saturday, the 92 degree on the 21st of
Yes, it is.
the month of September. We're right up at the end of summer. Fall arrives tomorrow. Small chance of rain this morning, but it's very small. If you're in Bowling Green, perhaps, yes, you will see it, but not here in Nashville, not likely, maybe a sprinkle or two. 92 tomorrow and Monday, partly cloudy both days. Tuesday's when the most recent chance of showers and thunderstorms are forecast. And, it looks like that. If we got every bit that's forecasted, it could be a half inch. Could be. It's possible.
There's a chance.
So yes. So anyway, it's dry. We need every bit of it we can possibly get. So all in all, at least the conditions do look like they are going to be cooling next week, which is very welcome.
Cool.
Very much a summer-like end to summer going on. Let's look at the radar here, and there's that the cloud cover and the storms up in the Bowling Green, Franklin, Kentucky area. Just a smidge around Nashville to the west, Cheatham County, and further down to the west, but not much. Looking also further to the west, Josh, that's Oklahoma City.
Darn.
Looks like no rain there. There could be some stuff out west, so maybe
It's going to rain in Oklahoma City.
Well, it could.
It's going to rain
Where it
in
is
Oklahoma
not
City.
raining is in the Music City. We've had no rain this week, and we're approaching the end of the month. Here in about another week, we'll be getting very close. 1.96 for the month, 36.48 for the year. And again, currently it's 69 degrees here in the Music City, and we're really grateful to have everyone in today and have you engaged in gardening talk, because that's what we do.
Yeah.
We talk about all manner of things.
Interact. You can do it anywhere.
Right.
Facebook.
Yeah, we actually answer
You can
your
do it
questions.
on YouTube. Yes.
Yeah, you email or
Yes.
give us some shout out on any of our social media connections.
The Messenger app is probably not the best way to do it, but it's acceptable too. Okay.
Yeah, it's probably during live on the show. What is
Yeah.
the agreed upon best? Instagram? Or?
Instagram is good. Facebook comments would be the best. We
Yeah,
see that
okay.
immediately, or YouTube. So use the comment box wherever you're streaming, and we will see it there.
And that voice is Caroline Gantley.
Hi.
And to her right, Austin Lowen.
Good morning.
A guy who's probably unloaded too many trucks this week because he's got a sore neck and back.
Man.
And
Could you just tell by the way he was talking?
He said he slept weird.
He slept weird.
Weird,
Which is
That's better
really,
than funny, I guess. Better than
Well,
sleeping
what it
funny.
means is he went to bed weird. tired.
Oh.
And he
must
was
have.
already, you think you're going to wake up and it's all better. And I had the same thought last night because I've been working on some projects and at my advanced age, it just takes very little to make things hurt. And so I was hurting last night. I thought, you know what? I'm not going to take Tylenol PM I'm not going to take Tylenol. I'm just extra strength Tylenol. I'm not going to take anything. Yeah. But this morning when I awakened, I felt differently about it. I go, I'm going to have something to get me rolling. So anyway, I am feeling better. Okay. But, as we both acknowledged to Austin, it will get worse.
Yes, dude.
But it will not get worse in the short term because we have received, I believe would be described as a copious amount of conifers as well as many other plants. You really have to come out here to even appreciate what all we've gotten in.
Folks.
Caroline will be talking about it more in detail later, but we've got a Isley Nursery display of maples and conifers and all kinds of goodies from that great
Bonsai.
Nursery. Yes.
It's full here at the nursery. I mean, so much plant material.
Yeah.
And pumpkins still.
Pumpkins?
I saw there's a whole bunch of little pumpkins. Those just extra pumpkins that are
little baby pumpkins.
They were a special order that fell through, so they will be combined with our pumpkins for the public.
I noticed they were very nice and symmetrical, and I really hate that when it falls through.
I know. But they'll make some people very happy.
Absolutely, because they're just the size for kitties. So if you've got, they're.
What about the dogs?
If the dog wants a pumpkin,
Get him a pumpkin.
Maybe you should buy some for
he
the
missed it. Okay.
And maybe you should buy some for the squirrels. I don't know.
Get some for everybody. I already bought my pumpkins.
I got to get mine. My kids are every single day asking me to get pumpkins, and I keep forgetting.
Get them pumpkins today.
I know. I got to get them. I'll get them today.
You got to get them now while we've got the best selection.
I know. We do have a good selection right now.
Is there anything else you guys got on your mind specifically about what's been going on around here? Or are you ready to jump right into the questions?
I mean, I got rain this morning at my house, so my plants are happy. But the reason why I got it is because I spent about an hour and a half watering last night.
Of course. Did you wash your car?
Works.
I washed the car. I watered all the plants. Pressure washed the driveway.
I believe you watered your plants. You did not wash your car. Not a chance.
No, I didn't.
I know.
I didn't. I'm not good with my car maintenance. But I did water my plants, and then it was raining this morning. But you know what? I am full in house plants as well. We have got some really, really cool plants in there right now.
Those pitcher plants you showed me the other day are pretty. We've never had any that were like this big before.
Yeah, we've got some giant pitcher plants in right now.
Yep. So if you're into carnivorous plants, we got some interesting stuff, and that's just one of the things.
I saw the tulip bulbs came in too.
The bulbs are here.
In.
Yeah,
Wow.
we are stocked up on bulbs right now. We forgot about that, Josh. So I'm glad you brought it up.
Yes,
I mean, a wall of bulbs.
A wall of bulbs.
So come here and get it. I always have these grand plans when the bulbs come in. I'm going to plant all this stuff that I never do.
Anyone who's really got their A game going on will go the Austin Lowen route and buy those bulbs and plant the pansies with them, or violas, whatever your preference is. But boy, that's an efficient activity to do where you get double bang for the time investment and really get a great show come spring. Well, you get an immediate show with the pansies right now.
Yeah, the white tulips would look really good with white pansies, wouldn't they?
Yes, they would, Joyce.
In that blue pot you picked up out here.
Oh, man. Joyce.
Yeah.
Are you
Joyce.
doing that this year? Are you going to get bulbs?
Yes, probably.
I mean, you have to every year.
If I know me, I'm going to do it. Yeah. I just got to do it.
You won't be Kev if you don't.
don't know you, who does?
I know. Well, my mixed containers are really getting tired at this point, and I'm getting tired of watering them. So, yes, maybe today it'll be pumpkin, pansies, all this stuff.
It'll be fall day. I already swapped out my mixed containers. They are
proactive.
I was on top of things this year, not usually. But let's go ahead and get into questions because we did get quite a few. Let's start with deer damage, y'all. No fun. Austin, you have a pine right
I see this. I'm sitting atop a pine.
It looks like a giant microphone, so I'm going to say let's leave it.
Should we? Maybe I'll turn it down.
It's going to pop right back up. We'll figure it out in a minute.
Hi.
Deer damaged maple. Hasn't scarred over completely. Is there anything I should do to it?
No. honestly not. I get deer damage a lot at my house too, mainly from bucks rubbing on your main stem, and this is part of it. Y'all gardening, it's part of it. Josh is coming over here secretly to try to move this pine. You do you.
There we go.
That's
A little more. You're getting close.
This is fun. Y'all are getting to
this
see
is
some
great.
behind the. That's perfect,
yes.
Josh.
There you go.
All right,
Yes.
very
Thank
good.
you, sir.
Just right. Just right.
Cool. But whenever it comes to your maple tree, let it heal. It will heal. It's gonna heal over. I promise. It
Leave
just
it
takes
alone,
time.
Josh.
Josh.
Josh, you're distracting everybody.
Oh man.
Now what I would say as a caveat to what you just mentioned, and the damage is done, and it generally is not a lethal act, but there are times when young trees, saplings, anything that's got a stem about the size of your thumb or smaller, they really just waylay them when they're got their antlers coming on. They're trying to rub that off. You should consider, if these are really prized trees, driving maybe 3 stakes in the ground that are about, say, 4 or 5 feet in length, get about a foot in the ground, and just wrap around it with chicken wire or the smaller something to keep them, whether it creates an annoyance where they'll not make contact directly with it. That's probably the best thing to do. But it doesn't do any good after the fact.
That's right.
Except that it may prevent further damage. And I've got several friends who've reached out to me lately when I encountered them. Hey, I've got this deer problem. I bet you do. Yes, I bet you do. And everybody else seems to as well. But particularly if you have spent money. I mean, and Japanese maples are pretty serious money.
Yes, they are.
You really should think about doing that, at least until you can determine whether deer are a problem in your area. I would not wait until after the fact. They can decimate them in a single evening. So.
Yes, they can. They can take them on out. All right, weeping cherry leaves are curling at the top. Is it too stressed?
It is stressed. I don't know that I'd say it's too stressed. I mean, it's a cherry for this time of year. It's just
They're gonna drop off.
They are. I mean, specifically Yoshino cherry, that cultivar has already almost lost every single leaf around town. Like, they just shut down early. And then weeping cherries don't seem to do it as bad, but it's getting to that point of year, y'all. I mean, at that time of the year where the leaves are going to start looking a little rough and they're going to start curling and they're going to start dropping soon. So part of it's natural.
It's happening. It's okay. Hey, Joyce did comment.
Hey,
I
Joyce.
don't know if you saw my face, my look of shock. I bought red pansies. Joyce got
She
red
did.
pansies.
Joyce bought red pansies.
Wow,
I saw it.
Joyce. Mums, mustard, etc. So Joyce came out, got quite a few things, and then Joyce did ask, is it a good idea to wrap trees to prevent damage?
Well, Risha commented that she wraps trunks with 1 or 2 layers of deer netting. They hate the feel of it.
Yeah. Well, it never hurts to be preventative on damage.
No, but if you only wrap the trunk, that doesn't mean they won't rake further up the trees and break up limbs or whatever. So you just kind of got. That's why I personally prefer at least going up. If you could go 4 feet above the ground and buy the 4-foot width chicken wire where you can just wrap around it. It only takes just one wrap around, but you need to affix it to it, and perhaps that will dissuade them. And I know it doesn't look good.
I don't know. I've got green poultry netting. It's actually hardware cloth. I cut it up about 18 inches. And
Does it look great?
Oh, it's fine. It kind of mixes in.
You could get that galvanized wire and spray paint it black to make it less noticeable, because what the deterrent, I should say, is when they make contact with it, they're going to go, hey, what's this?
What's going on
I've
here?
actually heard folks take and use the stakes, but instead of making a physical barrier, they'll put a couple of layers of fishing line between them, and when the legs hit, they kind of freak out and jump back. And what's going on?
Nothing worse than seeing the deer freak out.
Oh man, it's scary.
Get the deer camera.
We're getting into that time of year where it's a little bit scary on the roads right now. Them deer, have y'all noticed? They're starting to roam a little bit.
I saw
Skunks are moving too.
Saw 4 drinking in the creek as I was driving by the other day. So they're
out.
They're
This is when they start
around.
moving.
Yep, had one run right into my car last year. That was fun. All right, I had a toppler, a tulip poplar cut down and asked them to leave the wood chips. Can I make mulch with compost? And that comes from Katie on our Facebook page.
Hey, Katie.
Good morning, Katie.
I wouldn't.
I mean, I don't.
I wouldn't do it in a bed around the house. I would, if you've got a pathway or some areas around, you might do that. But you need to let it compost, don't you, David? Before you would let it. You wouldn't want to put just raw substrate wood right up against your home.
I wouldn't.
No,
I have seen that occur. The other possible negative aspect of that is if you have raw wood, composted bark. Is not an attractant to things like termites.
Right.
However, if you have chipped up wood that is not composted, that's what they feed on. So you are very likely, you might not be a problem for you, but it likely are inviting them in. So
and not to mention nitrogen fixation.
Right. Whether you are actually personally fixated on it or you're just making it available, the nitrogen in the soil, yes, it will tie up a lot of your macronutrients rather and micronutrients. So you don't want to put non-composted organic material, and wood is one of those things you should avoid. You could use something like cedar chips, which is a raw kind of wood. However, the difference is that cedar breaks down extremely slow and it just doesn't compost. I mean, it could take it 20 years to do anything breaking down wise. So you're not going to have that tying up of nutrients because it's breaking down and absorbing that nitrogen. So there's that.
There you go.
There's that. All right. I have a 9-year-old Southern Magnolia. Thoughts on pruning roots outside of the canopy?
Well,
pruning the roots outside the canopy. I mean, that sounds to me like they have gotten every other project done they can possibly do. I don't know that I've ever thought about trimming magnolia roots.
I've never thought about that either. The only thing I've ever seen before was long ago. What's that guy that grows all the daffodils on that big hillside? He's like a famous plant guy. What's his name? I can't remember it. I can't remember. Anyway, he's a famous kind of gardener. He was growing a wisteria tree. So he tree formed a wisteria and it made it really big. And supposedly, in his brain anyway, the roots needed to be pruned. So he went outside the canopy and he took this shovel and he just severed roots all the way across, like right outside the canopy. Alan Smith, what is it?
Alan Smith?
P. Alan Smith,
okay.
that guy.
P. Allen.
He did that with a wisteria tree, which wisteria is very aggressive. We all know this. But magnolia, I don't really see a point to do this. Like you said, David, and if you don't have anything else to do, I guess you could go out and do that. But let that 9-year-old just grow them up.
Make sure the trash has been taken out.
Yeah.
And you're recycling, and maybe wash windows. That would be somewhere below.
Clean out the closet.
Yeah. Those kinds of things. But I've never considered. I mean, there are people who take issue with maple roots that are very bad about surfacing, and you can see some of that in a magnolia. But generally speaking, they grow so wide and so heavily foliated to the ground. If they are exposed at all, it's usually covered by leaf litter, unless you're one of those people who gets in there and maybe this is one of those people that really cleans under the magnolias. It's a target-rich environment down there. There's a lot to do, and they never really give up on dropping leaves. Although they're evergreen, they tend to just defoliate year-round to some extent, really heavily in the spring.
I know that's why you don't like them.
Yeah, I don't.
Now we've got 3. Actually, it's 2 that were planted by the former owner of the house where we live in they've just grown together. It looks like one big one.
Oh, that sounds cool.
But they really chunk down. You don't have to worry about Bermuda grass growing in there because it's total dense, heavy shade.
Well, there's a bright side to it all.
There it is.
All right, let's talk about some star jasmine. Someone planted some outdoors. When the time comes, should I trim it back for the winter or leave it? I would leave it. When I had mine planted for a couple of years, I just left it. It actually held on to, I'd say, almost half the leaves through the winter. So it looked really good. And then if you're wanting it to grow up something, then it's going to be even higher come spring when it starts pushing out that new growth. Now, you can trim it back if you want to, but you don't need to.
No, you don't need to.
Ain't got to do it. Nope.
When it comes to star jasmine, where could we find one of those? I don't know.
Well, there's probably a lot of places to find star jasmine.
But if you were going to plant a star jasmine.
If you're going to plant a star jasmine, or you're trying to plant anything else for that matter, you want to get the very best soils and amendments to be able to grow those plants without having to put out so much effort. I mean, gardening is supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be this most difficult of tasks.
No.
And if you use the right soils and amendments, a lot of the work is removed from the equation because your success goes way up. And I'm talking about Earth Mix garden products.
Sure.
And if you go out to earthmix.net, you will see that there's an entire line of products that we have developed. And Earth Mix garden products are widely available. They're all 100% organic. They're all 100% peat free. And what that means is they are coconut coir is used instead of peat, which is a more green alternative. It's a regenerative thing. Plus, as Caroline will tell you, is a really big attribute is that it does not attract fungus gnats. And fungus gnats, while they're not really a problem for plants, they're very buggy. And they will fly in your nose and your eyes and your ears. And if you don't like that kind of thing in the house, just don't use soils that have peat in them. And it's really easy to figure out. Try Earth Mix because none of the soils or blends have that in there. And it's really easy to find Earth Mix. If you go to earthmix.net, click on the Find Earth Mix tab in the top right. There you will see the map come up, the ever-growing map. We got one, folks, the way out here, Victory Gardens Nursery out in Meridian, Idaho.
Wow.
And great folks. We're really glad to have them on board. And along with many locations in Tennessee and Kentucky. You can put your address in for turn-by-turn directions, or you can just zoom into a location near you. Also in Western North Carolina, Northern Alabama. So check all those out at earthmix.net. Just remember this: success in gardening begins at the ground level when you use Earth Mix garden products.
Absolutely.
We're here to help you take the work out of it and increase your success. And what is it you like to say, Josh?
Plants, water, sunshine, Earth Mix. Got to have it. That's all you
You
need.
do that, you're going to have success. So thanks for giving us a moment to talk about that and to help you in your gardening efforts.
I'm sorry that my segue was horrible. How long have I been doing the show?
Well,
and I forgot that was the Earth Mix spot, not the bait spot.
You were so disappointed in yourself.
I was. I'm
That
sorry.
was okay. Well, we tried not to cast undue amount of.
I'll shout myself out for failing that.
Throw yourself under that
That's
bus.
what I meant.
Yes. You can also shout yourself
It's the
out.
pine bough that
God
is getting
almighty.
you, man. It's the pine bough that's
Well,
getting
you know
Throw
what?
him off.
It's that neck and shoulder thing.
It's killing me.
I know.
Weird,
It's
man.
distracting.
Golly.
It's distracting.
All right, old timer, but you know what it is time for?
What?
To talk about all the plants that are all around.
If somebody has a button to push, this has been when they would push it, right?
We're just going to say
What's
it's
in bloom?
with Austin.
There it is. Well, hey, shout out to Rachel over here for
buddy.
running this show.
Rachel is doing
Rachel,
fantastic.
you're doing a great. Hey,
With Austin.
With Austin.
hey, better late than never, Rach. You're doing great.
And to her credit, she only gets to do this maybe
Twice a year?
2 or 3
Maybe,
times a year
yeah.
at most. So
Yeah.
I don't know how she remembers it as well as she does.
Oh,
I could never.
If I came in and tried to learn the tech stuff she's doing right now, I would give up. Be like, no,
The whole
Austin,
green
no
room
show.
would
all the
explode.
old program directors back in the radio days say, don't touch the buttons, guys.
Yeah,
Don't
I would never
do it. Okay?
Austin
All
would be
those-
the last person at this nursery or probably in Middle Tennessee that we would want trying to
Yes.
do Tyler's.
All those buttons are red buttons to me. Don't push the red button. Don't do it. But hey, shout out to your husband, Rachel. Happy birthday, Adam Chapman.
Yes, happy
Yesterday was his
birthday.
birthday. We got him a blueberry. Happy birthday, Adam. And I'm shouting you out because you're one of your favorite shrubs, the abelia. It's in bloom, okay? Abelia is still one of those shrubs that is throwing tons of blooms. It's really good.
Buy now, as I like to say, buy now, a billion later.
Yep. Hey, those canna lilies are still going out there. They're barely hanging on, but I'm still seeing
Yeah,
some.
mine are still popping up.
You told me about thistle yesterday. That's a random pokey weed, but you know what?
It's a beautiful
It is a beautiful pokey weed.
medicinal plant.
It is. is. Hey, hibiscus still barely hanging on.
Does that mean it will make you bleed, or does that mean it's just very slow if it's that kind of pokey?
It'll make you bleed.
Oh, okay.
It certainly will. Yep. Yeah. Like I said, the perennial hibiscus still going, but almost done. Crepe myrtle, rose of Sharon, those are our trees. They're still popping off doing something. Hey, yesterday I saw something on the way home that I had not talked about this whole year.
What?
Gardenia.
What?
Shrub form gardenia, people. They are in bloom. And if you've got gardenia, you know they smell like butter and honey and just like as
butter
good as
and
butter and honey mix.
Describe it as that. But
yes,
like,
butter and honey mix. You could make cookies
with that gardenia.
Hey, you know what's still in the show out there right now? What color? Yellow. Yellow is all about when it comes to the natives around here. Goldenrod and helianthus, the perennial sunflower you talk about, they are everywhere. Okay. Looking good. Ageratum, which is a random blue mist flower, people call it. It's still going off, looking good. Hey, y'all, it's fall. So asters, mums, pansies, still going. And then I got two that are kind of new. First off being moonflower, which is datura. And second of all, brugmansia. The angel.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, now remember, this is the one that's tricky now. Which one is which? Because you might say, well, the one that points down is the devil's. No.
It's angel.
That's angels because it's coming from the heavens, and the one that points up is the devil.
That's right.
So it's very confusing. You go, it seems backwards.
It does, but hey, like you said, the datura, the moonflower, pointing up.
I'm not sure either heaven or hell knows the difference between those.
They might not. But I do
so.
want to say about that. I pulled into my driveway the other night and saw my angel trumpet, my brugmansia. Keep that hand up. Keep it up.
I had something going.
Blooming, and it was stunning. It is one of my favorite plants.
I know. That's why I wrote it down on the list, because you told me about it. So I don't have one right now, so you had to tell me. But look, datura, moonflower, up, brugmansia, down. Down and up. Okay, that's how it goes. All right, and to finish it off, I got to give a shout out to my baby girl, Penny Sue. She's turning 4 tomorrow.
Oh,
Sue, my girl. Me and my wife were putting together a little bike for her last night. And I tell you what, that bike was harder to put together than you'd think.
Pink and purple Barbie bikes are difficult.
It's not. It's yellow, but it's got a basket.
Bike.
Especially when you got this shoulder thing going on.
I think that's part of it. I think that's what it was. I was on the ground messing with stuff and little things. Anyway, Penny Sue, love you, girl. Happy birthday tomorrow.
Happy birthday,
and what
Penny.
Dad won't do for you, he'll go to any painful length.
I will.
That's right.
Make sure you have a happy birthday.
I do anything for that girl. She's so cute.
Yes.
Oh, she's cute.
Yeah, you
Happy
got
birthday.
All your
adorable
girls
kids.
they're all adorable.
I love them.
Hey, Joyce says frostweed is blooming.
Frostweed.
Frostweed.
Joyce, what is frostweed? I need to see. What is frostweed?
I don't know.
You know what? We'll figure it out.
We will figure it out.
That's the problem with common names.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, that one?
Yeah.
Common names, vary from one side of town to another, let alone one area of the country to another. So it's the botanicals that don't deviate.
That's right. What is frostweed? What was the genus of frostweed? Caroline's got it pulled up.
Neither of them had their
Verbacina. Verbacina.
We don't have our reading glasses on. Yeah.
Verbacina.
Well, Joyce, thank you for that.
Yeah.
I have seen that around along the roadsides as well, so I just didn't really know what it was.
There's a lot tucked in there, hidden. All right, we got a live question in about blackberries. My thornless blackberry has grown. Brambles with thorns. Sounds like the back of my property.
Yes.
Will they produce berries, or should I cut them down?
I mean, they'll probably produce berries for sure.
They're gonna take
obviously
over.
not this year anymore, but like next spring they will. But if you don't like the thorns on, like sometimes sucker sprouts will come up non-thornless.
Yeah, and thornless is probably a bit of an overstay, but they're more what I call thorn reduced.
Yes.
They're not nearly as spiny, but
Really?
they're not spineless. So
No, I agree.
Spineless.
Do they grow on next year's wood? The next year, and will they the blooms or
Both.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, the sucker sprouts will come up and bloom and set fruit, and so will the old canes.
But if you cut the ones you cut off now, obviously they won't produce fruit
This
next
year.
spring. Well, they're going to do
No.
it this year anyway because this is not the time of year
No.
when they're going to produce. But you won't have them in the spring for sure
So it's
if you
last
cut them
year's
off
wood.
now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk crepe myrtles. We got quite a few crepe myrtle questions and comments in. One person just says, my crepe myrtles didn't bloom this year. Welcome to the club. Mine, one. I only have one. Did not bloom. Still no buds. I was looking at it last night.
We've heard that a few times over the season.
It's weird.
Yeah, no blooms. So I'm right there with you.
Well, I had just predictable.
Did not have that problem. No.
Mine still
They're all
blooming,
over
as
the
a matter of
deck.
fact.
They're in the pool.
Yeah,
They're all over the yard.
Mine's still blooming too.
Yep.
Well, hopefully I get blooms next year and you as well.
It's probably lack of sun.
Mine's
Could
in a
be.
lot of sun. I mean, it's not all day hot sun, but it gets at least 4 or 5 hours of
That's
direct
not
sunlight.
enough. Crepe myrtles really should have minimum 8 hours.
Oh,
what they
okay.
want.
So maybe I'll move it. All right. Do I need to fertilize the crepe myrtles planted this before winter? Do I need to fertilize? I guess my crepe myrtles that I planted this winter. We'll just say it that.
Okay.
Should they fertilize now?
Not now. No, I would wait till spring. I mean, early spring, get it dropped down. So in the spring, when it's actively growing, it's using its fertilizer. I mean, we don't really want to push any growth right now.
And if you're using one of the Earth Mix products, they're naturally, organically nutritious, and you will be able to get great benefit from that. That will give you that organic fertility for several months, particularly going into the dormancy season. So you won't need anything until next spring.
All right. And then bush crepe myrtle with black sooty mold. Help. Should I cut it to the ground in the fall? And then they said, thank you.
That's up to you. I mean, the leaves are going to fall. Those black leaves are going to go away. If you want to cut it to the dirt, you certainly can. I mean, it's going to come back and be a 5 to 6 foot shrub next year again, and still bloom probably.
You think that maybe they're more concerned about it being on the stems than on the foliage? One of the things that I have done with some success, and it's very important that you select the right nozzle.
Yes.
But you can take a pressure washer and scrub off that, but don't use the bullet nozzle. Don't even use the next one down. Use the wide fan and start off at enough distance where that you're just taking it off. You're not trying to take the bark off. You're just trying to remove that outer layer. You can do it pretty
cut
effectively.
down the hackberries.
You can do that. It's helpful also.
Yeah.
No, I recommend low pressure washers all the time for crepe myrtles. It's really a good practice. Just like David said, just be careful. Like work slow into it. Don't just go crazy with it right off the rip. Like, ease into it.
If you've got one of those bullet nozzles, you just should take it and throw it as far as you can, right in the woods. Just throw it. There's no purpose for that.
Not really.
I mean, unless there's an attacker comes into your house and it's the only thing let me start my pressure washer.
Wait a minute, got to go out and get the water pressure going too. Let's run the hoses. But
it's quite an involved technique.
I've never used anything except the fan. I mean, there's 5 attachments, and I've never used one.
All you can guarantee that it'll do is etch things into the sidewalk that you don't want left
or
on
your
there.
toes.
Oh yeah,
Don't want to lose those.
No.
That would hurt. All right, I'm going to go ahead and skip to the next question. Can beautyberry grow here, and can it be grown in full shade? Yes, it can be grown here.
It does. It gets very large.
There's one at
Great
Grassmere
selection.
that is giant.
They get huge.
They
get huge.
Yeah, we transplanted some big ones late in the summer to some much larger containers, and they just kept right on growing. Now the ones we have left of those are huger still. I mean, these are 7-gallon containers that are probably 4 feet across, 4 feet tall in there, and they're loaded. They're beautiful.
That's what's awesome with beautyberry. Yeah, like you don't get that color hardly anywhere with any other berry that I can really think of, especially that persists through the wintertime. Like
even from a flower, you don't really get that.
True.
That orchid purple. That's what I would call it. It's truly a beautiful plant.
It is. And will it live in the shade? Yes, actually it will.
Is it going to bloom as much in the shade?
Probably not. Okay. Most things don't, but we keep ours in our shaded area, and they bloomed and fruited great this year.
But that's probably about 60% shade. So when people say shade, it's all a relative term. It's all a perception. For instance, your crepe myrtle that in your house, Caroline, you perceive it to be in the sun. And in fact, is in more shady conditions. And a lot of times people perceive something to be a shady area, and maybe it gets more sun. So, it's numbers of hours of direct sunlight you would get, or how much of the modeled effect.
And even in your shaded area, there is light on the top.
There's ambient light.
There's ambient light all the way around.
Yeah.
So it's
diffused.
Diffused. All right, let's talk lilac. Bloomerang lilac hasn't The wording is a little bit weird, but was planted in early spring. Appears to have blight. What should I do? Oh, no.
Appears to have blight. Well, blight is one of those kind of buzzwords, okay? I don't know why we're going straight to that. I mean,
blight gives blight a bad name.
Yeah,
it really does.
I mean, I need to see what's going on here. To say that it just has blight, I don't know that we can do that. If you have pictures, please send them to us, because I don't want to just go there. I mean, I start really with physical issues first, more so than I go like a pathogen. And I don't really see lilacs getting pathogens all that often, so... Like I said, where do we send? Tell them where to send that.
You can email it to gardeninginsideout@gmail.com. That's the best place to send photos, so we can take a look at it and we can get back to you.
More likely to be maybe a drainage issue or some, either too much or not enough. It's more likely some cultural thing than it is just the blight that ran across the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And affected the plants.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Which native is better for a dry, mostly sunny area? Viburnum or Virginia sweetspire?
Yeah, probably viburnum out of those two. Like sweetspire can handle wet field, like it's rain garden approved, so it can handle a wet area. Does it have to have a wet area? Not necessarily. And honestly, to be quite honest, sweetspire can kind of live anywhere.
Yeah,
So,
I've got one in the shade, and it's very happy.
Yeah, I mean,
So
like I said, pick a spot, and sweetspire will probably live there.
So we're 36 minutes into the show, and now you've decided to be quite honest.
Yeah.
Well, it just makes you question everything he said to this point. Okay.
Always question what I said.
He slept weird. Remember, he
Don't
slept
tell us that.
weird.
He
I
did.
did.
That whole weird sleep
Still
thing.
hurts. But hey,
blame it on the bicycle.
but the viburnum route is a good way to go to. For literally in my yard, probably the driest spot I've got in the whole yard, I've planted a viburnum that actually Benny got me for my birthday a couple years ago.
Aw,
and it is totally fine. I mean, is it stressed right now? Yes, but if anything can be stressed and live, it's viburnum.
Yeah, it takes a lot to.
Oh yeah,
A lot.
takes a lot. I got another one planted up underneath a walnut tree. Straight up.
A
It's
viburnum?
fine. Oh yeah.
Really? I didn't
and-
know you had two.
And
got three.
but viburnums
Yeah.
is the entire viburnum. Are they all pretty resistant to juglone?
I believe so, yeah.
And for those you don't know, juglone is the chemical that is produced in walnut trees that many plants, and I mean most plants, find totally toxic. They won't grow around it at all. But there are a few. So if you've got walnut trees, you need to kind of search out those things that are very adaptable to that situation.
Grass is not one.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of grass that lives up underneath that walnut tree. Like you can tell the plant material that's below it is just like real scrubby, weedy things that can live. And then I plopped a viburnum out there because I think I read one time that viburnum was okay with it. So I did, and it's been totally fine with it.
Mahonias
fine.
are another of those things. Yep.
All right. So Sheila on our Facebook page says, "Good morning from Clarksville."
Sheila Faust.
Good morning,
yes.
Sheila.
I know Sheila.
I
I've been to
planted
your
a
house.
honeysuckle a few weeks ago. Bridget's recommendation. It has a few green leafy shoots. Does it need cutting back for winter or leave it as is?
Sheila, that's up to you, girl. I mean, if you want to leave those stems up, you're going to, like Caroline talked about earlier, like you're going to have a taller, vine if you leave it up over the winter. That gives you also opportunity if you leave some of that stuff up to see potential dieback that would happen. So like you can leave it up, and then if you do suffer some dieback, then the nature will naturally prune it down a little bit for you. Yeah. Yes, I'm using my hands. It's helpful.
Just like you were in a house.
He doesn't have a teleprompter. That is his teleprompter.
We joke out here all the time because we use our hands like crazy. Like, oh, it's going to get this big.
Oh,
It's,
yeah. Especially
just cut
Shannon
it.
out there on the lot.
We're always using our hands. But yeah, Sheila, that's up to you. I'd say for this first season, like since you just got it, just leave it up. Let that thing stay up, and let's see where it cracks from next spring.
And then you can just cut the dead off if it does have diabetic.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
then you can just cut the dead off.
Yes. Well, there's a place that we all frequent. Well,
Where we spend a lot of our time.
We're here every day. It's called Bates Nursery and Garden Center,
That's a
Josh.
great place,
You
man.
are here at least weekly.
At
I
least
can
weekly.
verify that because, well, you're here today.
I am.
And what we do here is, it's the thing we do that we don't do anything else of. Is called horticulture.
Yep.
We do all the things associated with helping you get the best plants to choose from, get the best information on how to grow those plants. if you're running into issues with them, and you say you've got photographs you bring in with you, and it's got sun, you've got shade, you've got too much water, it's a really dry spot, whatever the conditions are, we carry a selection of plant material that is so diverse that we have something that will work, and likely many somethings that will work in the area that you want to use that will give you the look that you're hoping for. And the good thing about landscaping is there aren't really any rules to say you must do this or you can't do that.
My wife says there are.
Well, then that's her rule, and she's totally entitled to that.
She's a customer at Bates too, by the way.
Yes. So
straight lines.
Well, you know what? That's why we have the squared off beds.
That for her, just for Diana.
For Diana to visualize. That's why we do it that way. But we can help you find the things that make your garden unique. And you're sure to be able to get getting a number of things here that will give you that look. And also introduce you to some plants that you didn't perhaps know what existed. And we'll be talking more about those as we get into our set here in just a bit, because we buy from the most premier growers all over the country. And not just that we sell the things that they sell, we sell the things that they sell that do well here. So we're very persnickety about, if there's a certain something you're looking for that we don't, you're not sure about if it does well, we can help you with that information. And of course, we're always looking to improve and do things better here at Bates Nursery and Garden Center. And we've completely, we expanded our parking lot last year. We have completely repaved our entire facility. We're now in the process of covering our little pergola area that connects the Bates Trim area to the outdoor checkout area. So always a lot going on, and we invite you to come see us. In addition to that, I do a weekly newsletter, and you may or may not know that, but nearly 33,000 folks are kind enough to subscribe to that, and I do appreciate it. About 40-something% of them actually, we had over 15,000 people read it last week, which is...
It's a lot of people.
It only takes a minute, folks. It's a great read.
It's only 350 words. It's not 348 or 352. It's 350 every week. So, it's what works for me. And what I try to do is give you some little insight on what we've got going on. Today, what we've got going on, we've got a whole group of trees that are perfectly good trees, but they're not as perfect as they once were.
They're past their prime.
They're a little past their prime.
Okay. In the pot, but they'll do great in the grass.
Well, they'll do great, but you need to get them at your house, because we need to find a new home for them. And at 50% off, we're hopeful that home is going to be yours. So come on out and see us. Be prepared to haul them away. So bring your trailer or your truck. We can't rope them off and hold them because it becomes a competitive environment. And so please know that you need to come and get those. And that's at 3810 Whites Creek Pike, just a mile north of Briley Parkway at exit 19, right here in Nashville, which is just minutes from Rivergate, Opry Mills, Nashville West, downtown Nashville, Donaldson Pike, West Nashville, Smyrna. I mean, wherever you're coming from, it's very much worth the drive.
Lebanon,
Mount Juliet,
Fayetteville.
Have you ever climbed Mount Juliet?
I have been to the top of Mount Juliet.
It's quite a climb.
Yes, it is.
Anyway,
without supplemental oxygen.
I digress.
Okay,
come see us, Bates Nursery and Garden Center, beautifying Nashville since 1932. Bates Nursery and Garden Center. Thanks for giving us a moment to ramble about that.
That's okay.
There wasn't much rambling.
Not too bad. Try to be efficient in my ramble.
Very efficient. Very great commercial. All right, Linda on YouTube asks, my lilac gets white powder on its leaves each year. I just live with it. Should I wait till November to cut it back?
No.
I would say no. Mine already have buds.
I was about to say, you don't want to do any cutting on lilac over the wintertime. Bad time to do it. You're cutting off a lot of your flower show if you're going to get one at all. And
it's a lilac.
It is, man.
Powdery mildew.
Powdery mildew loves lilac. If you wanted to try to prevent this in the spring, you certainly can with fungicides, but you have to prevent it. That's the key.
Yep.
Once you've got it, you either have to wipe off the leaves, clean them, whatever, because once you got it, you got it. But you can prevent that early in the spring. But no, don't do any cutting right now.
Or that or pray for weather conditions we never receive.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which is, dry. I mean, it's just if it can be fungus related in the springtime, we will get it. If there's something more susceptible than lilacs, I don't know what it is. Lilacs are extremely popular further north.
Yes.
Because they're much less susceptible. They're fabulous,
yes.
And they do okay here. But once they flower, and that's early in the spring here, then you cut them back, and you do eliminate a lot of that powdery mildew that way.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, my lilac blooms a little sporadically here in Middle Tennessee, but I still love it.
Definitely.
Let's go ahead and talk about what we have in room today. So at the top of the show, we discussed Isley got here.
She's ready.
What's in room with Caroline?
Oh my gosh, Rachel is on top of things. So Isley came in on Monday when Austin and I got here to work. It was all here, all placed, and like we talk about, it is the most exciting truck I think that we receive here at the nursery.
By the way, that's spelled ISELI.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like the Isley brothers.
Correct. If you're Ben Trust who works here, you'd pronounce it Isley.
He pronounces everything wrong.
He pronounces it his own special way.
That's Ben.
But we brought in just a small sampling of the things that we've got here at the nursery right now. I mean, like we talked about,
we're going to find out
full.
what Rachel's pan and Zoom skills are. So here we go.
Oh, Rachel, are you ready? So in
there's
the
that voice.
corners up above me and David, we've got rough bark Japanese maple.
Gorgeous.
You can't see it right now because obviously there's leaves on it and it's so far away. But if you look into these trees, come to the nursery, look at the bark on these trees.
Into these trees.
Look into these trees. Yes. Come join us as we look into them. Really, really cool bark on this tree, but also just look at those leaves.
Perfect.
So green, chartreuse. I mean, just stunning. Austin actually was the one that picked these out
I like
today
that.
to bring them in. He was like, Caroline, look at this. This is what we
Good
need
job.
to bring in.
Column there, and upright,
Good work.
gorgeous.
Also, great job, Rachel, zooming in. Got it. Got my forehead in it, too. Perfection. And then we've got Sharp's Pygmy Japanese maple. So this is a little dwarf Japanese maple.
A wonderful dwarf.
Yes, little chunky, tiny guy. There they are. Yes, you can't see the stems on them, and they're a little bit heavy for us to lift up without having to stand up and get kind of awkward.
I'm not even going to try to lift it up.
I don't know how much they have on them. Do you know, Josh?
I looked.
Oh, did you take a little peek?
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm just imagining these in a planter. They would look so cool. If you want a Japanese maple and you've got a small space, I mean, I feel like this could be the one for you. It's so compact. We also have them in front of the table. I don't know if you could see it, but it's
These
like
are a little
sea
smaller too, though.
of these little, well, we've got the Sharp's Pygmy down on the floor.
Right.
But yes, Josh, speaking of little small, we brought in a sampling of these small little kind of bonsai starts that we get in each season from Isley. And you could just see all the different varieties we have. I would say we probably have, like 25 different types out there?
Probably
for
close.
sale. So we've got pines, we've got Japanese maple, we've got little tiny elms, we've got one that's called a flowering wisteria. Oh, we got something. Oh, it's right there from when we moved it. But also, what are we looking at right now that's a little bit out of focus? That is Niagara Falls white pine. And I think this is going to be the thing that's going to be my Christmas tree this year.
Yes.
So Austin's holding it. It's the thing that was right in front of his face.
I actually am a proponent of the Charlie Brown Christmas tree look for Christmas. I mean, it just gives you a lot more adaptability to the landscape, and it's a great
It
concept.
does. I just thought, if I'm going to spend money on a tree that's cut and dead, why not spend money on something really cool that I can then plant in the ground?
There you go.
Last year it was a Carl Fuchs cedar. And this year it might be this Niagara Falls pine, which I'll have to obviously bring it up a little bit. Oh, Rachel even focused the camera on
Look
that,
at
did
that.
you? Or maybe
Look
the
at
camera
that.
did that, but I'm going to say you did it. And then right in front of our feature plant, yes, when Rachel came into the room yesterday while we were setting up, she was like, oh my gosh, look at that. This is Gold Cascade Cascade Deodar cedar. So it looks kind of like a spider. Also in the running for a Christmas tree, but this is maybe a little too short and sprawly for that. Yeah. We could put it up on something very tall plant stand. I have wanted one of these for a really, really long time. But look how much, this is just one plant.
That's where you need a Christmas tree pedestal to put the Christmas tree on, so you accommodate all of those packages that you no doubt will receive.
Oh, yeah. I know y'all are going to be mailing me so many Christmas presents this year. And then let's talk about what's on our Lazy Susan on the hot plate. This is Shindashoho, Japanese maple. Another one that Austin picked out because the new growth, I mean, it's almost like magenta. It's red, but it's so bright as it comes out, and then it's going to fade to this green. I was telling Austin, it looks a lot like my Katsura, but a little bit darker. So there it is. Y'all come out and see all the stuff we have in from Isley. We have so many Japanese maple. When you park and when you walk down that main aisle at the nursery, it is just lined with Japanese maple in boxes that are just so gorgeous. They're perfect.
Can I have this one? I take it home with me.
You can buy it.
I am going to buy it. But,
but yes,
I need permission. I need someone to twist, David.
Yeah,
twist.
No, I'm not getting into that.
Twist my arm.
Josh, I'm going to say yes.
Okay,
you need that one because we need to know how it does.
Well, it's going to go in. It's going to join the Isley Brothers band. I buy several of these every year when the Isley truck comes in, and I've got them in containers. So. And I call them the Isley Brothers.
I love it. Hey, Rachel, while Josh is talking about that, do you want to pull up the picture that we got from Joyce?
Cats have this legendary cat-like reflexes. They go, ha! Yeah, you got nothing on me.
Gotcha.
They go right up to him and then back up 3 feet really quickly, and do that multiple times. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. And hey, Joyce, great picture, by the way. Yes. I mean, you caught that thing right there.
I know. It's so hard to catch, and they move so fast.
Even the cats, he's actually running, but he looks like he's just lying there. That's how quick that action shot was.
We've got one little hummingbird that keeps coming in and out of the houseplant greenhouse. We have some lipstick plants that are in full bloom, and the one that's blooming is red, and it keeps coming in, going to that plant, and then buzzing on out of there. It's fun to take a little look at that. All right, let's get back to questions. We've got one about hydrangeas. I purchased 2 little lime punch hydrangeas in the spring. So far, the blooms have remained green. Any suggestions how to get them to turn white and pink?
You wait.
You wait.
It's just a phase. It's kind of like a tomato that's still green. You wait. It will turn red.
Yes.
And those will as well. You still got plenty of time. They're going to be that lime green color now. Fading, brightening up to that pure white, and then fading to that kind of reddish pink. It will happen. Trust me.
And I love all phases of the flower, and particularly when you've got one like that. It just be patient. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it will happen.
It will happen. It will fade, and it will be gorgeous. All right, must move creeping phlox. It's a must. Now or wait till spring? I say neither. Do it a little bit later. I'm moving some, and I'm waiting until temperatures cool a little bit, and we get a little bit more rain.
Be nice to have some moisture in the ground.
Yes, it would.
Yes, it would. It's a little bit hard and dry right now, so.
You sound so mad at it.
Well, I kind of am.
And that's okay. We all are.
But yeah, no, like Caroline said, let's wait a little while. Let's wait for hopefully a little bit of rain. Let's hope for some cooler temperatures. Once that happens, then you can move.
And we are going to get
very tough.
We are going to get both, but
Yes.
sometimes you have to, if you've got some planting projects that you need to be working on, you might need to do some slight pre-digging and let water percolate down into the ground to soften the ground up a little bit. You could run a sprinkler, but it's a lot more efficient if you can just let it soak into a spot, and makes it a lot easier to dig out that way. So
Yes, it does.
But get it done before spring, because you want to enjoy the spring show of creeping phlox.
Right.
I mean, that's the best part of it. So
It can get all settled into its new home over winter.
the entire month of November should be a spectacular time.
Yes.
That's what I'm waiting for all of my transplants. Probably
Joyce
like
says
2
Rachel's
things.
doing a great job. By the way.
yes, she is.
Rachel's doing amazing.
It's Rach. Great work. Rach.
Again, I could never do it. I
No.
would shut down and be like, I'm out. All right, we've got an email from a listener. They say long-time listener, first-time caller. I have a citrus tree mystery for you all. I received a Meyer lemon from my family on Father's Day years ago. The tree is kept outside in summer and indoors under grow lights in the winter. The tree is alive and has grown a little bit, but never really flourished. There is infrequent new growth, and periodically the leaves curl. I thought I might be watering too much or too little. Moisture meter says it retains moisture. The soil on top gets powdery dry, but deep down, the soil is moist according to the meter. Maybe the pot is too big. Not sure how to get this plant to grow. I need your expert opinion. I would say that the pot's probably too big. If it's really dry up top and then it's holding a lot of moisture on the bottom, that just means when you transplanted it, when you put it in its new pot, you probably went up a little bit too large and those roots are not getting out to the new soil, and so it's retaining a lot of moisture. That would be my guess with it being powdery dry on top. Lemons and all citrus like to be pretty tight in their pots. So I would say there's something going on below soil level. So maybe pull it up and take a look and repot it would probably help you out.
Yeah, and once again, send us some pictures. We want to see it.
Yeah, and the curling
what was the light conditions? Did he describe light?
He said
He puts it outside in the summer and indoors under grow lights in the winter.
I'm a little curious about the curling leaf.
They get curly leaves with pests, so it could be some kind of pest on it.
Or even aphids can cause that.
But if he's
to
had this issue for a long time, then it should have moved along by now. Like
would think so.
The problem should be bigger. Like he should have leaf drop and he should see signs that there's some kind of pest. I mean, spider mites, I would say that's what gets on citrus the most. It's like a battle. Mm-hmm. So check your leaves too. It could be a pest that maybe when you put it outside, it's getting kind of taken care of, and you bring it into the winter, it's still there and it takes over a little bit more. But check the leaves, check the top, check the underside. See if you see little webbing or little dots. That would be spider mites. Thrips are real tricky to see, but they're these long-bodied little teeny weeny bugs that are very, very fast moving. Really fast. So just take a look at it, but send us pictures. gardeninginsideout@gmail.com is the place to send them. All right, we got a live question from Jane. As I prepare for my fall veg and flower garden beds, I like to work in a layer of compost. What earth mix best fits this description, and can I bring my truck and buy half a yard or yard measure?
Tell him, David.
Baby.
Wow,
supernatural.
Absolutely. And that's
it's good stuff.
Yeah, you're going to get really excellent results out of that. So ask for supernatural, and you can get it. And if you want to buy it by mini scoop, which is essentially the half volume of the big bucket, then you can certainly get it that way. It saves you money, and you get the same quality product. So supernatural, that will get you going.
I love Supernatural, but I did buy a lot of earthworm castings when we
I
were
stocked
running
up
that sale.
myself.
I got 8 bags.
Oh, I got 4. So,
Well, I use it for my houseplants too. When I do new plantings, I like to mix it in.
And those are on sale right now as well.
Yes, they are.
50% off on the bags
The bags.
of Faragra. In a blue bag, just coincidental. It's kind of
Just happened that way.
Yeah.
Hey, Joyce says, my Edgeworthia is thriving near several walnut trees. So there's another one that you could plant near walnut trees.
Joyce, you're just killing it out there.
Joyce really is killing it.
Taking great photos, getting Edgeworthia to grow.
Actually, she's not killing it. They're living. That's the
She's
deal.
living it.
She's keeping everything going. All right, we got a question about cover crops. Someone is asking, cover crops for veggie garden, do you plant seeds now and then they die in the winter?
No, not all of them. That's the whole point of a cover crop. We kind of keep them up through the wintertime. So they're typically nitrogen fixating plants. Clover being one of the most common to put over the wintertime. Yep. And then they just bloom in the spring and just buzz with bees. So bringing in bees into your garden. So yeah, we're going to get ready to sow those seeds soon. I mean, I don't know. It's still a few days of like 90s. Let's maybe wait
I wouldn't do it yet.
I'm going to about 70s.
Yeah, we're getting more for that.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't do it right now, but you could buy them now and at least get ready to get those sown.
I think that's the key is, when you're doing fall seeding, having the seed on hand and everything you're going to use for the project and be ready to move when the conditions get right. It's the forecast talks about some chance of rain later on in the week that might coincide with it. Then again, you might need to wait a little longer. What you don't want to do is get them out there and let them get wet and then get dry again.
Yeah.
Once they can lie there on the ground dry and it won't affect them at all. They're just dormant. But if you ever get them to germinate, you need to keep the moisture to them until they can get rooted in well enough to be able to establish themselves. And hopefully during this time frame is when the temperatures are cooling down. And those things tend to work together to increase the odds of doing well with fall seeding.
Fall, and they bloom early too. So I mean that really helps the bees get started for the spring.
Gosh, that's
gorgeous.
Hey, I do want to
Another
say we
yes.
answered every single question today.
That's a
right
first.
on time. That is amazing. I am proud of us,
Well,
team.
we were all about it today. And thanks for all your questions and for all the capable panel members
Yes.
we have here. And Rachel, thank you so much for being here.
Rachel, you did it.
Bravo.
Great.
Proud of you.
So we invite you to tune in again soon. How about next week?
How about next week? Hey,
And,
you can interact on Facebook. Multiple pages there. You can go out to YouTube. And some people like it. Some people are not so happy with it, but that's okay. We're here for everybody. So we'll see. But we're going to come back anyway.
Right. We're going to
Next
be
Saturday
here, so
morning.
check it out. And if you liked it the first time, watch it again.
Yeah. Bring it around. Hey, listen for the podcast during the week. And
Absolutely.
watch out for the newsletter. Hey, for everybody here at Gardening Inside Out, we appreciate you being here. We'll see you next Saturday.